You know, whenever we make a change, there's sort of a misconception that we have a grand destination in mind for warriors, and that they're going to travel this path and then they'll reach the destination and then everything will be fantastic. That's not really how we think about it. How we think about it is, what are the, and this is just when it comes to balance. We're not talking about adding new abilities. That's a completely separate thing. But if we're just talking about balance for parry, for example, in this case we've realized we want parry to be more of a relevant stat. So we've made some changes in order to make parry a relevant stat. We'll release that and then we'll watch and see what happens. And then we'll decide, hey, that change worked out great. We like that change. Or hey, we didn't do enough. Or hey, we did too much. I mean, it's really hard to kind of figure out everything that we need to do at once. And so we have to make kind of small incremental changes to help make sure that we're getting to where we need to be. But Warrior is one of the best classes in World of Warcraft, definitely. We think that you know, that's something that we look at on a per patch basis, but we don't think that it is a requirement that every tank have paladin level AoE tanking, for example, or paladin level stuff. I mean, we think it's really important that every tanking class, and every class, but we're talking about, you know, tanks specifically, that every tanking class bring specific advantages that they have. And the Warrior may not be the best AoE tanker, but it still does a good job, and it has other things that it is the best at. Yeah, our web team is working hard on actually doing something like that. So that's something we're very excited about. The challenge has been, we didn't design the game and make the game with the idea of the armory, and so retrofitting it is actually a little bit of a challenge. But we are trying to find the right solution and figure out how to do that. That is something we're very excited about. So, are you asking about, like, is there content planned beyond Arthas? I mean, that's something that actually gets brought up quite a bit, which is, yeah, what are we going to do for bad guys or enemies? But there's tons of bad guys and tons of enemies. I mean, Arthas is actually a relatively new boss, right? I mean, he was introduced with Warcraft 3, but we've got, you know, bosses that are much older and have been a much bigger part of the Warcraft lore. I think people get really focused on him because he is such a prominent figure in Warcraft 3, and it's a great story, and people are really excited about it. But we definitely have ideas for what comes after Arthas. You know, there's Sargeras, the boss of the Burning Legion, is still out there. We haven't talked about him in a while. So there's a lot of Warcraft lore and a lot of ideas that we have. 3.3 is the patch where that's going to happen. So that's actually the next patch that we're going to get started working on. Well, lots of things are possible. Yeah, we added a whole bunch of new Halloween masks in 3.2. That's for the Halloween holiday. Yeah, we have actually talked about that. Pet collection has become really exciting. It was really exciting before, but now it's even more exciting because it doesn't take up bag space to have pets. So that's really exciting, and that's definitely something that we're going to continue to increase and add on to. I mean, players really love collecting the pets and the mounts, and so yeah, you'll definitely see more of that. We don't really feel like that feature went in correctly. Doing effects like that is very expensive. It makes the game very slow. And so we ended up taking those out, and we want to do some kind of ground effect. We call those ground effects, that will allow players to kind of know, because that's a really neat feature to know where the effect of the blizzard spells are and things like that. But we need to do it in a way that is not super painful on the game, in a way that lower end machines can have. So that's definitely something we want to do, and we're trying to figure out how to do it. Yeah, so right now, our philosophy with the achievement system, and that includes titles and other achievements, is that they're cosmetic only. A lot of people have asked us to do use arena points, or sorry, achievement points as some kind of currency where you can go out and you can buy special gears or things like that. Our philosophy is right now that it's purely a visual recognition. It's a recognition for your accomplishment. It doesn't actually confer additional power, and that your spells and your gear is where we're going to confer the additional power. I can't say that that won't ever change, but that's our philosophy right now. Maybe. So the druid models, yeah, they were definitely showing their age, and that's something we wanted to do for a long time, is have some customization for the druid. We may come up with other models for other forms for the druid, or other classes that can transform. Definitely, that's definitely something we're considering. A lot of that is the art cost, because in order for us to make a new druid cat form, that's another creature we could have made, right? So it all comes out of some creative bucket that we have, and so it's just, where do you want to spend? We call that, where do you want to spend your pennies, but it's like, where do you want to spend your art time? That's interesting. The response that I know of have all been universally positive. People are really excited about it, and of course, a bitter twist of irony. The first thing that players want is a third talent spec that they can do, which is interesting. No, I think it's actually very good for high-level players, or for mid-level players who are figuring it out. Really enables you to have two sets of ways of doing things very easily. If you've got in a raid situation where you've got your Death Knight tank that's better for this fight, or your Druid tank that's better for this other fight, then you can easily have those guys swap out and they're ready to go. So, and we're really excited about how well the features worked out.